Yeah, it's been just, obviously talking with Ryan and, all the guys, just kind of reflecting on a lot of stories and just honestly hard to believe. It really doesn't even feel real, in a lot of ways. It has been, I think it has hit me pretty hard, truthfully. I think it's probably hit all of us pretty hard, and just it's hard to put it into words, I think, in a lot of ways. And it's just as long as I've been racing with Kyle, he's he's a guy that, as I got to thinking back through it, really impacted my career directly a little more than I even I guess realized until I really started thinking about it. Just all the years racing together is really not going to feel right racing without him, on tomorrow. So just just reflecting a lot on memories and stories, and gonna be tough.
Someone who was able to do that like yourself?
Yeah, no, I think Kyle was always the one driver I would say I respected the most throughout the field, and a lot of it was due to his extreme talent that he had behind the wheel of any race car. I would say the courage that he had to jump into new things and just try to learn, and usually he learned pretty quickly and did a really good job. So, he, I would say the last few years kind of dabbled in more of my background of racing and was getting the hang of it, and cool to see Brexton you're kind of going nowadays it's kind of split 50-50 between pavement and dirt, but for a while I would say majority of dirt racing, so that was pretty neat. But yeah, as far as what made him really good, I don't know. I think he just had a natural ability as well as a work ethic, and a feel and an understanding of a race car that just made him much better than everybody else. So he's probably the greatest competitor I've gotten the chance to race with, and I'm extremely grateful for that.
Yeah, wasn't able to do it very often. We had those couple great battles. I gave a race away at Indy, and he ended up winning it. And then the Pocono battle where I got my first Cup win. I got to race him late in the race, and it worked out for me that day. But I grew up watching Kyle dominate in everything, and from late model racing and trucks and nationwide and Cup cars, and it was just a unbelievable competitor that everyone was always trying to strive for and trying to beat, and he could really do whatever. So on the track had a lot of, and one of the, I think personally, was one of the cleaner racers out there. Like, would always do it the right way, at least with me, and a lot of good memories on the track, and a lot of fierce battles, and we're pretty fortunate to just be a part of his time in the sport. Like, you want to compete against the people who you think are the greatest ever, and he is one of the greatest ever, and I think we're all pretty lucky to be able to witness Kyle Busch, and the talent that he had behind the wheel.